David, thank you so much for joining me today.
Great to spend some time with you, Theresa. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. So for anybody in the audience that maybe doesn't know who David Scibor is or what you do, tell us that. Start us off there.
Yes. So again, appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you. It's really a treat to be here. And I feel like Charlotte, real estate, and specifically Keller Williams Ballantyne has really provided an opportunity for me to thrive professionally, an opportunity for my family to create a life by design, and really going down this path of becoming the best version of myself, not only professionally, but personally. And I think those two really tie together. And I realized I've had the opportunity to work for a lot of great organizations before. Spent my first career working in the luxury hotel business, and then realized I had continued servant heart, and I could take the skills that I learned from the hotel business and really apply it here to real estate. And even as I look at my role today in real estate sales, see it as an opportunity to care for people, provide value to them in their daily life. And if I do that to enough people, I'm going to have more than enough business to not only support us, but then also to support the causes that are important to us in the community.
I love that. Okay, so you weren't just working for any hotel. Where was this said hotel business?
Yeah, so I had the privilege of working for both Four Seasons and Ritz-Carlton hotels, which are some of the top hotel brands throughout the world.
For sure.
I felt like if I was going to get into that space, I really wanted to work with the best. And those were two names that consistently came up here in the U.S. market. And those brands allowed me to travel, had the opportunities to work in Boston, Philadelphia, the Caribbean, and Hawaii. And that was an incredible season of my life. Allowed me to see places that I had never seen before, create lifelong friends, had the opportunity to meet and marry my wife, Carissa, while I was in Hawaii. And again, just a very fruitful season. But what it also taught me as well is the importance of standards, the importance of a great work ethic, and the importance of just taking the time to listen to what people were saying. I found in various roles in which I worked in an organization, sometimes I was dealing with escalated guest concerns, and I found that some people were motivated by some sort of compensation, perhaps some sort of a rebate or an incentive. Other people just wanted to be heard, and that was really an eye-opening moment for me, that if I took the time to ask questions, really sit with them and whatever feelings they were in, that sometimes that carried more weight than the financial piece itself.
I feel like we could do a whole podcast just on what you learn from, again, these big businesses like that taught you truly service, servant heart, all of that kind of good, stuff.
Yeah, and it was interacting with people from all different parts of the world. So I had to be very in tune to who I was interacting with, because people had different life experiences. We all have different life experiences that shape us. And I had to make the best decisions I could in that moment with the information that I had. And sometimes, again, just asking the right question could help me get key pieces of information that would help me make a decision that would best serve the person I was with.
So you're no longer in the hotel industry. How were you working at a hotel? Is that what brought you to Charlotte?
You know what? It was a bit of a move on faith. So had worked in the hotel business, like I said, for 15 years, was newly married, and it's just a very demanding business. It just never closes. There's a joke that the last day the front doors of a hotel are locked are the day that they open, and they literally never close again.
Ever.
And that was wonderful. I loved that lifestyle. Again, built some meaningful relationships. Yet I realized if I was an investor in my marriage, at some point welcome some kids, I didn't want to have to negotiate off for my kids' sporting event or holidays such as Christmas and Easter that are important to our family. And I found that oftentimes those were very busy times in the hotel business when people are off of work. Oftentimes holidays is when they're able to travel. So it was often all hands on deck. And I said, all right, I have a decision to make. I can either have a career and family life that are in friction with one another, or I can decide to make a pivot. So ultimately gave in my notice. Chris and I moved in what we could pack into suitcases and boxes, cross country here to Charlotte, North Carolina. I had some family in South Carolina and Tennessee, so that's why we picked the Carolinas. Yet we didn't know anybody, took a career sabbatical, and and just decided, what is life going to look like moving forward?
Yeah. And you guys were still young for all intents and purposes. Not that you are not now,
Absolutely.
but still young, truly. Newlyweds, trying to figure out what life was going to look like for you.
Totally. And I'll say it was a challenging time. We dealt with the loss of some very close family members at that time. We both waited until our 30s to get married.
Yeah.
And we came together, loved one another, and realized, all right, this person was adding some refinement to our life.
Yeah.
And just even navigating that season of, all right, lived alone outside of our parents' homes for over 10 years, had that freedom, and now suddenly we were living together, trying to build a life together.
Yeah.
And we realized there were some things that we were in agreement on right away, and there were other things that we just had to learn how to communicate about as we came together. So
you end up here in the Carolinas, and you say, real estate, sure, that's going to give us the life we want. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so it was kind of a blank slate. I was trying to decide after this career, what's next? I knew what I was doing in hospitality was not the path forward, yet I needed to understand who I was in order to figure out what was next. So grateful for a couple organizations here locally. Central Piedmont Community College had some great classes that kind of walked me through some career exploration. There was also a group at St. Matthew Catholic Church here in Ballantyne called Christians in Career Transition, where there were some people in the organization that were volunteering and sharing their expertise to really help me and other people that were kind of navigating the season of life into tools and books to help me kind of find my compass again.
Yeah.
And I'll say it was pretty hard. I had a strong conviction for the brands I was working for, found a lot of joy in the work that I was doing. And I'll almost say there was like a period of grief that I was dealing with.
Mourning came to mind when you were telling the story. Yeah. Mourning kind of that past life.
Yeah, I found a lot of fulfillment, a lot of purpose in what I was doing, and now suddenly that was gone. Like, what's next? And through that, I came to realize that I really love taking care of people. I love face-to-face interaction with one another and with other people. And I said, what doesn't allow me to do that? That was one of the things where I felt like I really thrived. I felt like it was almost not work for me. It was me just in my high energy zone where I could deliver it for other people. I also received it in return. And to me, that seemed like a lot of fun. And I think having fun in a workplace was going to be something that was very important to me moving forward. And it was just a matter of what was next.
So real estate, and you find Keller Williams.
Yes.
Started your journey at Keller Williams. Yes. So tell me about your first year. You jump in, all in, right?
Absolutely.
And Carissa's there to support you, and you guys are all in. And what happens?
Totally. So it was we said it was kind of like a burn the ships moment, where it wasn't going to be if we succeeded in real estate. It was going to be what did we have to do to succeed in real estate. And I think there's an important mental delineation there where you have to make that commitment, even if you don't understand what it's going to totally look like, because it causes the brain to start looking for answers that it will only find if you're asking the questions of what do I need to succeed. Like you're going to find a way to get a little bit better every single day. And I'll say I was spending a lot of time in that first year, especially in those probably first 4 or 5 months, getting ready to get ready. I felt like I needed to accumulate all the knowledge before it was time to make a sale or get in front of clients. I feel like I was programmed to make sure everything went perfect. And what I've come to realize is there's going to be no such thing as a perfect real estate deal. You're going to have great outcomes. And our role is really to help our clients navigate the hurdles that come up in any real estate transaction. Some will certainly be less bumpy than others, yet there's going to be curveballs, there's going to be things that we didn't plan for, behaviors of party outside of our control that will inevitably enter any real estate deal. And it's us to provide the calm, provide the logic, provide the path forward that perhaps people with less information or less knowledge about the industry can see, yet we can be there to be that calming voice in the midst of a transaction. So, but going back in that first year, I often joke that it took me so long to find my first client that I had to be related to her. So I sold my wife a house, and that was actually my first transaction.
That's great.
And I joke that she was the first one that said yes in marriage. She was the first one to buy a house with me, and it created the momentum to say I can do this. And since we weren't from the area, we didn't know anybody. I had started building some relationships and social circles around the running community, professional developments, and the local Ballantine Toastmasters chapter. And the people that I had started building relationships with ended up becoming my first clients. And that's the beginning of the story. And here we are, hundreds of houses sold later. I couldn't even envision what we were able to create, yet it was through that consistent, predictable activity that we were able to build something that not only supports our family and the things that are important to us, but has then allowed us to go out and take that success to organizations we support and invite other people to be a part of this success journey.
He said a word really important there that caught me. We talk a lot in real estate about relationships. It's something I personally think you do at a really, really high level. What is that come from the hospitality? I know it comes from your heart, number one, but the hospitality service kind of showed you that. Now that you're in real estate, does it look different? Explain to me what that looks like. What we also will call it loving on people, right? Yep. It's all of these different ways that you're building relationships, whether that was through, I know you love to run, you mentioned your running community, all these different types of places. What does that look like? How do you love on your people and your relationships?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's something I think for me is that has evolved over time. I feel like professionally, like when somebody invites us to partner with them either in the sale or purchase of their home, they really invite us into an intimate space. We get a look into their finances. We get a look into the nooks and crannies of their home. Heck, we often have more access than their closest family and friends to these areas. I also like to joke with clients when I'm sitting with them at their kitchen table that it's okay for them to be pleasant and joyful with me at the kitchen table, and that's certainly a part of the real estate experience. What I like even more, though, is when they get chippy with one another at the table, because then I really know that they're being honest with one another, and they're ultimately being honest with me. And the more honest and transparent we are with one another, the better decisions we can make as partners throughout the sale or purchase of a home. And as kind of a guide, as a coach, as a consultant to my clients, I want them to get the outcomes that we talked about during our initial conversations. And the best way we can do that is to have those types of conversations throughout. And sometimes, again, the hurdles and the challenges along the way are going to be minimum. And then other times there are going to be things that go sideways, and we're going to have to suddenly go to plan B or C quickly in order to help them achieve the goals that we set out to achieve.
Yeah. So you mentioned hundreds of homes.
Yes.
Hundreds. Not all transactions are the same. Like you said, some are going to be roller coasters, right? Is there a certain side of the transaction you like doing better? Is it selling somebody's house, buying somebody and finding that first home? What do you really love about the business?
I like kind of designing a plan and helping people see things that they can't see for themselves. I'd say as far as the listing side of the business, it's fun when a client has a particular date in which they're looking to sell by or go to market on. And I like to really engineer that process in reverse, help them understand, all right, this isn't, we have a meeting today and then we sell your house tomorrow.
Right.
And what I've come to realize is life doesn't stop for people when they come to sell their house. In fact, the challenges and sometimes the stressors that come with that actually increase. If it's a local move or even an out-of-state move, oftentimes it can involve different commutes, different social circles, oftentimes different work environments. Sometimes these moves involve positive change, where people are excited perhaps about moving to a new location to be close to family or friends. Other times it's involved them taking them away from friend groups or family members. So it's going to be a lot of stress there.
Yeah.
And to help people navigate that season, I've come to realize that although we do sell real estate, depending on the scenario, that could be a very small part of the relationship that I create with people.
Yeah.
Also turn into a counselor, can be mini daycare.
Yeah.
So then adults can have additional conversations without the challenge of a child kind of inserting themselves at an inopportune time. So for me, I like that piece of it. I like the moving parts of it. And again, putting my clients in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
I've got kind of a process that helps people kind of discover who they are and what's important to them. And the only way I can help them do that is by asking great questions. So becoming just a continued lifelong learner, not only for me personally, but also professionally. I find that at the end, we're really not in sales, we're in the service business. And if I can help people just self-discover along the way, they're going to get the outcome they're looking for, and it's ultimately going to turn them into the hero of their own story.
I love that. Again, I hear nothing but a servant heart. Nothing but a servant heart from you. All right, so talk to me about maybe some of the lessons that you've learned through this journey called real estate. Not all transactions are easy, like you mentioned, and always some good lessons in there.
Absolutely. No two deals are exactly the same.
No.
Something that really stands out to me is like when we sign up to work with a client, it's our responsibility to have standards and to ultimately follow them. Some of those standards are going to be impacted on the behavior of people outside of the transaction or outside of our control. And we have to still be willing to hold up professional standards regardless of how those people may impact the transaction.
Yep.
There's one sale in particular that stands out just from last year where it had been a bumpy, sometimes contentious relationship between the buyers and sellers throughout the transaction. And then it came to final walkthrough. Super excited for these buyers. I'd worked with them on a couple transactions, excited for them to get into this beautiful new home. And on the final walkthrough, we stepped in the first room and there were a few things that were still there that shouldn't have been there. And as I started kind of cleaning those things up, quickly to realize that it was like that throughout the house, including an attic full of things. So I reached out to the cross-sale agent. Of course, this was a time when this particular agent was traveling, so was not nearby. And the other party just said they're not doing anything about it.
Oh, man.
And closing was taking place on a Friday. The seller needed the proceeds to purchase their next property. And the buyers and I had a real candid conversation, and they said, hey, they've made it difficult on us. Do we make it difficult on them in turn? And we realized that wasn't the right answer. Again, coming back to standards, just because it didn't go as favorably as we would have liked, doesn't give us permission to then waver from our standards.
That's right.
The second part of that was then it was going to take a lot of work to get all that stuff out of the house. And the buyers had anticipated an empty house and had friends and family scheduled to come over later that afternoon. So as much as I had not planned on being at this house all day, it turned out being a full day at this house, getting stuff out essentially to the curb, in which a junk company came and basically removed 2 trailers full and 2 pickup trucks full of stuff that was left behind. The lesson in that, though, was the buyers had left. They still signed the paperwork, knowing that they had belief in me resolving it with the other agent. And I was able to be at the house when they returned later that day to welcome their friends and family. And to see them enjoy that moment, it reminded me that, yes, we're selling real estate, but it's so much more than that.
So much more.
This was a lifestyle move for them. It was on the water. It was going to allow them to make memories with their kids families, and to play a small part in that and to get a front row seat was truly special and a great reminder that we're often the doormen or doorwomen of helping people live their best version of their lives. And we can do that by helping them get into a home that really not only satisfies the physical and lifestyle requirements, but then the access to whether it's hobbies or social groups or the workplace, so they can maximize that time together.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Okay, so has somebody helped you along the way in all these successful years that you've had? Is there somebody you would attribute, your success to?
Absolutely. Nobody achieves this type of success alone, and I'm certainly not different there. I would really credit a lot to coaches and mentors that I've had along the way. I'm a big believer in coaches in all areas of your life.
Yes.
Professionally, fitness, marriage, spiritual, all those things. There are people that have walked before us that have years of wisdom, both in successful decisions and maybe unanticipated outcomes that have helped me along the way. And I'm a believer that you really become the person that you spend the most amount of time with. So you have to be very careful on who you spend time with, because you're going to become like them whether you consciously decide that or not.
That's right.
So here at Keller Williams, I've had the gift of being in a coaching relationship during my entire time that I've been with the organization.
Wow.
So I started some with market center level coaching, and then I moved to higher level coaching. And some coaches were around for a long time, others were a shorter journey. And it wasn't that coaching was wrong in any of those scenarios. Sometimes it was just a mismatch, or what I needed and what the coach was most skilled at weren't a match.
Sure.
So my challenge to anybody listening is, if you do have a coach and it's not working out, don't give up on coaching. Just understand who you are, what you need, and be very clear with that with a coach. Because I think even in my own journey, I didn't know what I needed initially from a coach. And it was through that reflection, through a better understanding of myself, that I could find the right coaches to help me along the way. I have the gift right now of working with a great coach, David Bernal, who really knows how to ask great questions to pull the behavior out of me that I need in order to continue to grow professionally and grow personally as well.
That's cool. I love how you mentioned a coach in all of the different facets of life. Mm-hmm. It's so true. It's not just in work, right? Not just in what we're doing here.
Totally. And I think that's the gift, I think, of this business, where the success of our business really grows to the extent of our personal growth.
That's right.
And I had to learn that. Like I said, I worked with some great organizations, felt like I had a great foundation, yet the things that we've learned, the experience we've had will get us only so far unless we're committed to just being in this ongoing process of growing, learning, implementing, growing some more, evaluating along the way. Because there's going to be times where we get it right, and there's going to be other times where maybe we'll drop down a rung or two on the ladder. And it's not because we're doing anything wrong. That's just a part of the growth process.
That's right.
And I think that's been more of a more recent revelation to me. Like, I used to think it had to go right all the time. Like, I thought growth had to be linear.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was only going up. Yet that was just an unrealistic expectation. So once I understood that, things started to make more sense. And I think life is ultimately just a collection of patterns and seasons. If you are in a season of great harvest and you're bringing it all in, celebrate that. Also recognize that that's not going to be around forever. So be willing to pivot and adjust, because winter's just around the corner. At the same time, if you're in a winter season, whether things are challenging for you in real estate or challenging in your personal life, sometimes just put your head down and put one foot in front of the other, knowing that you're not going to be in that season forever. Spring will be coming soon, and you'll want to be ready to plant those seeds once that next season comes along.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, I'm going to make you a little uncomfortable. You ready for this one? You did not know I was going to ask you this. You are officially, for 2025, the numbers are in here at Keller Williams Valentine. And for an individual agent at our office, we have over 600 agents here. You are the number 2 agent in all of Keller Williams in closed volume this year.
Oh, wonderful.
Amazing.
That's a great stat, and I love the scoreboard, so I appreciate you giving me that update. There might be a little bit of competitiveness.
You're like,
there.
who's number 1? Who is it?
I could have some guesses, yet I think this is something that I could only dreamed of, and I can still think of sitting back in team meetings 10 years ago. You and I started this real estate adventure probably within a year of one another. So it's been exciting to be on this journey with you too. Yet I still remember kind of big-eyed, sitting in that room, looking at these top producers, wondering like, wow, they waved the magic wand and suddenly all this business showed up. What I can say is, like, at the beginning, oftentimes it isn't to be you're going out and grabbing every single deal. Yet I've come to realize over time that if you continue to look after people, take care of them, that it becomes a little bit easier, because then you have clients that become repeat clients. They're referring you out. And then you have that social proof to people in your circle to say, hey, I'm doing this. Yeah. I even think of like the price points that I started at and now where I'm at now. Like, I don't think that would have been possible straight out of the gate until some people around me saw, all right, he's just not a flash in the pan type agent. He's somebody that's here for the long haul. He cares for his people. He's there for them whether they need real estate advice or not. He just wants people to become the best version of themselves. The other thing I'm going to touch on as well, and you mentioned what I kind of consider a scoreboard statistic, and I'm excited for that. I think the most rewarding part about that as well is I've been able to do that and still be present for my marriage, been there for my kids' sporting events and dance performance.
You were not missing those things.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of family like not in the area, so we've made it a point to go and see them.
Yeah, travel.
And we're never going to get the accolades for those type things. Yet I think it's very important for agents and people to hear that through it all, like, you have to be the person that dictates that those things continue to stay important. Because I think this business, very similar to the hotel business, can be very all-encompassing.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right guardrails up, you could be working 24 hours a day. And there's certain times of the year that I find that I'm working significantly more than others.
Yeah.
Yet I realize there's opportunities as well that I can carve out even the busiest of times, where if it's a date lunch with Carissa or me picking up the kids to go grab an ice cream cone, that as long as we talk about that and it's in alignment with our family goals, that those can be just as fruitful as much as a week-long vacation. So again, coming back to the seasons and patterns, understand what season you're in. If you're building, like, there's going to be times where you have to grind. Heck, even yesterday, like, we had taken a fair amount of time off in December.
Yeah.
I realized yesterday with the holiday, there were going to be a lot of people home, so it was a great day where the office was going to be quiet. I could get on the phone and have a lot of meaningful, deep conversations with people. I hope that it provided some great reflection points for my people. It was also very rewarding for me to do that, and to have the support of my family to do that as well was just absolutely wonderful.
That's great.
So
again, back to the servant's heart. You thought about everybody else that would be home that you could pour into, right? Just so you are. All right, so one last quick question before I run out of time, because you just mentioned your children, your wife, you have some family goals, which I love hearing, right? Like you just mentioned, it's not just about work and the work goals, but what's my family's goals? So when I think about you, David, and I think about your legacy, tell me, leave us with that. Kind of where do you foresee this all going? And as you're raising two beautiful children and you have this wonderful relationship with your wife, where do you think real estate is going to leave your legacy? Like what part of that is for you?
Yeah, so when I think back to my decision to align my business with Keller Williams, I still think of the God family than business and what that has truly meant to me. I feel like order matters, and if we get order correct, then life becomes easy. If we decide to get creative with the wrong things, and sometimes that's around order, then that's, I think, where we can get into trouble. So for me, having a strong morning routine has been really important, and that means getting up earlier than I would get up if left to my own devices. Oftentimes that means the alarm is going off between 5 and 5:30, just so I have enough time to invest in my relationship with God. I like some physical activity in the morning as well, just to kind of wake up the system. And then some time with my wife and kids before I go out the door. And I find that oftentimes there isn't like a silver bullet solution. It isn't a one-time thing. It's consistently doing the same behavior time and time again that matters the most. And doing that with my family puts deposits in the bank. So by the time we're headed out the door, we're winning before some people are even out of bed.
That's right. At 7 a.m. Literally, you guys are winning before 7 a.m.
Yeah, and I think it took marriage, and I credit Chris a lot to help me recognize some of those gifts along the way. I tend to be like chase that big ambitious goal, and I miss some of those things along the way. Yet she's helped me realize just to pause and recognize what's great in the moment. And I like to think about even just the office I have here at the Ballantine Market Center. Like, there is a beautiful sunset outside of our window. Like, if you take the time to look at it, and we get pinks, we get purples, we sometimes can get the full rainbow out there of colors. And if you're just rushing from one task to the other, like, you're going to miss that. So be intentional about your surroundings, and like, it's going to make the journey all the more enjoyable. Have the goal out there, like, use it to guide you, use it to move to action. Yet remember to celebrate the journey. Can be fruitful for you. You can bring other people to enjoy that journey with you as well, and it can be a lot of fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I didn't ask that you want to leave us with today?
I think we have an opportunity to really make the most of our lives. And I think true freedom isn't doing what we want, it's doing what we ought. It's a quote I love really from Pope John Paul II. And I think listening to that quote, understanding that order matters, has really brought me a level of peace and a level of joy that is close to my heart. And I feel like I've heard that, and now it's really my responsibility to kind of take that message out to the people that I encounter. That's people I have deep relationships with. Hey, that's as simple as to the stranger that's walking into the store at the same time. And if I can extend a smile or hold the door. In today's culture, again, everybody rushing around, that means something, because people want to be seen, they want to be heard. And if I can be a small instrument or a vessel of that peace in people's lives, I feel like I'm winning.
You are absolutely winning. David, if people want to get a hold of you and reach out for their real estate needs, or maybe they just want to talk to you about one of those great pieces that you gave us today, how should they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my cell phone, you can reach me either by phone or by text message, 704-808-0909. Again, just drop me a message, give me a call. Be happy to chat with you about real estate, talk about life, or one of my most recent popular subjects has been travel to Hawaii. That was home for us before we lived here in Charlotte, and it's a place that holds a special place in my heart. And if people are considering a trip out there, love to be able to share with them the wisdom that we have about our time on the island, so they can make their trip just as great as possible.
David, you're an amazing human, and thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Thanks for the opportunity, Theresa.
Yeah.